Welcome back to Bloodstock TV with our series of pre-festival interviews, and today I am delighted to have with me Adam Zaars from Tribulation. How are you, man? How's things?
Very good, thank you. Glad to be with you here.
Excellent. So we've got a few things to talk about, and I figured the best place to start would be obviously the new EP that has come out. So let's start with that. Hamartia, I would have to say, in all honesty, when this came in to me, I didn't really know what to expect. I thought it was going to be kind of a continuation from the previous album, which I loved also. But this EP just absolutely blew me away. I loved everything about it. I loved the cover at the end, the Blue Oyster Cult cover. Yeah, just everything from production, aesthetic, sound, everything. Between the release of Where the Gloom Became Sound to this, do you feel that things are a little bit more settled now? Because obviously, Jonathan departed the band and there was all that stuff going on. So with Joseph coming in and everything. So this EP, does it feel that it was kind of like a reset almost?
Yeah, in a way, also a continuation. But yeah, absolutely a reset to try something new with the new lineup and see where we could take that. We wanted Joseph to be involved with the songwriting as well. So he wrote, I believe it's the second song, the Access Mundi. So, and after playing live now with him for over a year now, things have, and making one tour in the process and a lot of festivals. Yeah, so it absolutely feels like we're back on track.
Fantastic. Now, with regards to the title, I'm always fascinated with kind of the meaning behind various titles and the concept behind them. And this, Hamartia, if I'm correct, it's a Greek word meaning frail, which comes from, it can also mean missing the mark. It's an old Greek word. Was there any particular reason why you chose that? Because frailty and missing the mark, something there that seems that, if anything, this EP was absolutely not, if you know what I mean.
It first caught my attention as a word for sin in the New Testament, or in the Bible in general, in Greek. And because I thought the word just sounded very cool and beautiful. So that's what first caught my attention. But the literal meaning, to miss the mark, also inspired some angles, I guess, in the lyrical content of the EP. So it was a mixture of both of those concepts. Kind of difficult to explain exactly what those lyrics are about, because it's not necessarily only about one thing. We often see lyrics as a part of an artistic process that doesn't necessarily have one meaning or even any meaning. It does have meaning, but it's not like a narrative or anything. So it's just basically the word in itself, how it sounds, how it looks, and those meanings behind it that kind of conspired to make this this song in the end.
A lot of people asking, obviously, here it's an EP, so the natural question is there a bigger body of work there, i.e. an album? And if so, is that something that we'll see before the end of this year, or will that be something for perhaps 2024?
Yeah, the plan is to record it this year, at the very end of the year. So hopefully we'll be able to do that. Hopefully we're finished. Yeah, that's the plan at least. So hopefully it will be out in May, June. Otherwise, September next year. So it's coming. It's absolutely coming. We're just gathering inspiration, looking for new and interesting ways to move forward with the band. We kind of feel like we are in a situation where we really want to take some kind of bigger step than the ones we've made for almost 10 years now. I mean, every album has sounded as its own entity, I think. But since the release of our album, The Children of the Night, in 2015, it's been more consistent than with the previous stuff. So we feel an urge almost to do something that's new and interesting, new and fresh. So yeah, we'll see where that ends up. Hopefully in a good place.
Now, considering the restrictions of touring, obviously when the Bloom was released, now with that thankfully behind us all, is the intention to just tour as much as possible? I know you were saying that recording at the end of this year and the album comes out next year, but idealistically for you, would you love to just really get out there and just tour kind of as much as possible from, say, mid 2024 onwards, like really just do an extensive amount of touring?
Not as much, I think, as we've done in the past. Or maybe about the same amount, but when we're a little bit more picky when it comes to touring. We're all just regular people as well, but with families and kids and all that. So we're a little bit more picky with which tours to choose, and we wouldn't do now as we did back then, just say yes to anything that comes flying our way. But yes, we will start the touring probably next September, and we'll hope to reach as many places as we can. Obviously Europe, and there's always Western Europe, but you also have to go to the more eastern part. We want to get back to the US. We used to tour there extensively. We haven't done that in a long time now. And then of course there's the rest of the world. So yeah, we actually hope to reach all of those places, but hopefully in a smarter way than we've done it in the past.
Bearing that in mind, obviously Tribulation are playing at Bloodstock next month. I can't believe how fast it's coming.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's coming up real fast. So yeah, Tribulation are playing on Sunday, which is now sold out. The day is sold out, so which is absolutely fantastic. This would be the only chance, I think, that people could see you guys in the UK in the remainder of this year.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we'll be back again, but this year, most likely. We're doing the album, so this will most likely be the only chance. Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
The only chance. So you heard it here now, guys. It's the only chance. Yeah. Now, speaking of Bloodstock, you're playing on the Ronnie James Dio stage. That day in particular, I mean, Megadeth are headlining that stage, and it's just crazy. We've got Biohazard on the other stage with their original reunion. It's going to be absolutely crazy. So Bloodstock for you, has this been a festival that you guys have had an eye on? Is this kind of like a bucket list festival to tick off in Tribulation's touring legacy?
Yeah, you could say that. I've played there before, and Joseph has also played there before. We played there in a band called Enforcer, probably 13 years ago or something, a long time ago now. And yeah, since then I've always wanted to do it with Tribulation as well. So now finally we're there. Just
one of the things about that is a topic that has come up in numerous interviews. Choice of the cover, the Blue Oyster Cult cover that you did on the Hamartia EP. Now, I know you've spoken about that. People can go and reference that if they want to. They can check it out. But you did say, I caught in another interview, you said somewhere that you were thinking about doing Nosferatu from Spectres. And
yeah,
oh
right.
my God, I mean, I can already nearly hear that in my head, how incredible that's going to be. And since when you mentioned that in an interview, I can't remember when it was, to present day, has that been recorded? Like, have you guys done that and you're just kind of keeping it in your back pocket or up your sleeve?
I wish. No, we haven't. But yeah, we've been thinking about doing that for 10 years now or something. Because obviously we're a Nosferatu kind of band, apparently. But also the song is just fantastic.
It's amazing.
It's been my favorite Bloodstock Cult song since I don't know when. For just a really long time. But because of that, it would really have to be very good. I mean, to us, the result of it. So it might happen in the future, you never know, but we would really have to put a lot of thought and effort, I think, into doing that in a satisfactory way.
Okay, just a final quick little thing for you. You had stated before that a lot of your inspiration comes from, in particular, Italian horror movie soundtracks. You kind of love all that stuff. such as Suspiria, etc., especially from that particular era, the 70s era, excuse me. Out of those soundtracks, and I suppose the aesthetic of the movie as well, which is very, very dear to you? Which do you love the most that you could recommend, that the soundtrack just complements the movie so much?
Well, the except for Suspiria, which might be the obvious choice, actually, it's just a fantastic movie and fantastic soundtrack. But another one that's been very close and dear to us for the past 20 years is what I think it's called Zombie Flesh Eaters in English, with the composer Fabio Frizzi. Yeah, and so I think it's also called Zombie 2. I love how the zombies are portrayed in movies like that. They're slow and they're truly dead while still obviously being somewhat alive. They're not, running around as they do in all the movies nowadays, I guess. It's just a more chilly and eerie feeling, and the soundtrack is just totally perfect.
So anyone that's out there that has an interest in that stuff, coming from Adam here, check out Suspiria, I suppose, would be at the top of the list. And
yeah, absolutely.
Zombie Flesh Eaters or whatever it was that you said. Excellent.
Yeah.
So just finally, just touching back to Bloodstock again, would you be inclined to kind of hang around and check out some of the bands that are performing on the day? Is that something that you guys like to do?
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Usually when we've played, we're very keen on checking out a few bands. That's one of the privileges in playing music like this. You get to see Judas Priest a couple of times a summer and so on. It's just can't miss opportunities like that.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us, and we'll be seeing you very, very soon at Bloodstock on Sunday the 13th on the Ronnie James Dio stage. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Hopefully there won't be too much sunlight. Absolutely brilliant. Well, listen, Adam, thank you so much. We will see you at Bloodstock on Sunday the 13th of August. Tribulation on the main stage. Thank you so much, Adam.
Here, thank you.
I am the one, I am the one that you need. I am the one, I am the one.